Hey guys, I'm a Dimension Jump, and today I'll be doing another general discussion type video. Now, as of recording, the Switch 2 Direct was yesterday, and when this video is uploaded, it will be more than 48 hours, or roughly 48 hours, since the release of the Switch 2 Direct, and what was shown off in terms of the games, what the Switch can do, that sort of thing, when it came to like the controls and how it runs, that sort of thing. So yes, so to start off with is some of the games that were shown off. So I think two of the most, standing out ones was probably Mario Kart World and the new Donkey Kong game. I think it's called Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think. And those two games, I think, are one of the big selling points of the Switch in terms of how and when in the first few months of the Switch's lifespan, because with Mario Kart, it's going to be released on the same day of the Switch 2, and then Donkey Kong Country is going to be released like a few months afterwards, and there are going to be some games released like after that. Because you've got another one that's coming out in around winter time is the Age of Calamity Age of Imprisonment game that's like takes place around Tears of the Kingdom. So like when Zelda is in the past, when after she sees the mummified corpse of Ganondorf, and she helps both Raru and Sonia defend their version of Hyrule from Ganondorf. And there's also a few other games coming out here and there. And yeah, I would say from what I've seen, the games look a lot of the games that I've seen look fun. Like there's that Dust Bloods or Dusk Bloods game. There's like a sort of like Bloodborne, Elden Ring, which is also coming to the Switch, and like Dark Soulsy types game where like if I have to fight off against these very powerful bosses, and you will get a lot of game over screens. And yeah, there's games coming out of from Software, and it's coming to the Switch too. And yeah, a lot of these games I've seen are quite fun. I think as of right now, I think for me personally, and probably a lot of people are not probably. This is how I see it. There's going to be two camps of people. One camp is that a lot of people are probably going to buy the Switch 2 on launch day, either as a bundle with, Mario Kart, because of the price, which I might talk about later in the video, and other people, or the other camp of people in which they might wait until a few more releases have been shown and released, and then they might get the Switch 2. And I think I'm leaning a bit more into the camp of waiting for more releases to be announced and released over time within the first, let's say, 6 to 8 months of the Switch's lifespan, or the Switch 2's lifespan, because the Switch 2, I think, I do hope it's not a Wii U situation, in that we have a new console that's a sort of a continuation from an original console. So like from the Wii, we had the Wii U, and from the Switch, we've got the Switch 2. And I do really hope it's not another Wii U situation in a sense that it's just another console that's got like some good titles and then ports. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. I do hope it's not that sort of thing. But there's a part of me that feels like there's going to be another Direct, probably in late May, early June, probably around the time before the release of the Switch 2 properly. So I'm guessing there's going to be like one more Direct that's going to show like teasers for games that are going to be released later on in the year, or teasers for games that are going to be released next year. So yeah, but from what we've seen, a lot of the games I do think are going to be cool, like Mario Kart World. And I think that's going to be probably one of the best Switch games, or Switch 2 games, that's probably seen that we've seen so far, because of all the cool stuff you can do, and so as well as some of the new characters. And yeah, I think with that game, it's probably going to be one of my favorite ones to play on around because with Mario Kart 8 and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, though that one was really fun because of the way you could do like the whole anti-grav thing, and you can like also there was also like the DLC tracks that were brought over from 8 to Deluxe, and then you got the pretty much the brand new tracks that was seen in Deluxe's DLC course packs, and yeah, and I think that's going to be I think a bit of a successful game, hopefully, but yeah, I think a lot of the other games look fun, and you've got like I think one of the highlights, another highlight for me is the basketball game, the one with where you're against like is it like it's like a three, and you're in wheelchairs and you can do like use the mouse to like control your character, and then you can just do like basketball shots and stuff like that. And yeah, and with the console itself, it looks pretty slick. I do like the new controls and how they work. I think the group chat thing is pretty interesting. It kind of works, or it's pretty much like Nintendo's version of Discord, in that you can talk up to or hang out with your friends virtually, whether it's playing Mario Kart, Mario Party, or when one person is playing Zelda, another one's playing Mario, another one's playing Pokemon, that sort of stuff. And it's cool to like interact with your friends that isn't using Discord but using Nintendo's version of it. And what was shown off in with the group chat is that it's interesting. I do like how it's used, especially with the camera. But within the what was shown in terms of the player, your friends using it, it did seem a bit laggy. And hopefully Nintendo have sorted this out. So like they've ironed a lot of that out when the Switch 2 is fully released. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And yeah, I think this could be, with the group chat thing, this could be very helpful or very useful when you're playing a game and you're not able to find a particular thing. So, for example, if your friends are playing, or all of you are playing, let's say, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or Mario Odyssey, all of you can help each other out by finding the last few moons that you might not be able to find. So, like, if you're in the Metro Kingdom and you've got like 5 moons left, you can go to your map and say, okay, this particular moon in the Metro Kingdom is in this particular location, and you just need to do like a ground pound or something like that. And yeah, I think that sort of thing can be helpful, especially when it comes to like helping each other out and just having someone to talk to and stuff like that without using Discord. And yeah, the group chat thing is probably going to be an interesting feature. Hopefully, from now until the Switch 2 is actually released, some of the elements like the lag can be ironed out, hopefully. So yeah. Now, the final thing I'm going to be talking about is the pricing for the Switch. Now, when I checked how much it was, and when I've heard, it was like 300 or about £400 in the UK. So about, and what I've heard, some of the numbers are floating around in the US. It's like £500, £800. I could be wrong. But I think those are some of the numbers I've heard being floated around from what I've heard. And yeah, a lot of people are angry about this and not a huge fan of, or not pleased by this decision. I think, and I can kind of see why. Well, I can see why, because because the game or the console's like a big success or a successor to a well-known console, and people and Nintendo or Nintendo will probably want to try and get a lot of people to get as many, but with it being this high, I think people will be put off by it, or a lot of people are put off by this, rightfully so, because why would people want to buy a console that's really that's like a lot of money, like half, like I said, half a grand in USD and £400 in the UK. And I think I think it's gonna. I think it's just gonna have a lot of people just be put off for a bit from getting a Switch 2 because or on release because of how high it is, and also the games that we've seen so far. We could see more along the way, but I think so far from what we've seen, a lot of people won't be buying the Switch because of the games we've seen. I think the only things that stood out to me was Mario Kart World, a port of Elden Ring, Donkey Kong, that was also a good one, and Hyrule Warriors. That was like one of them standout highlights for me, and I'm probably going to wait until Hyrule Warriors is released in winter time, or like a few weeks or so before that game is released, so I can get it. And yeah, I think because if you look at the Switch, the original one, that had Breath of the Wild as like a launch title, and that was like a really successful game that went along with a successful console. And I think with Mario Kart World, I think it could be successful to a degree, but I think with how it's priced, I think Nintendo. I'm not sure because like I think Nintendo could lower the price in I don't know when, but like it could be like half a year from when it's released or whenever, or like a few months afterwards or whatever. How if they are going to price it down, but like I think with I think when compared to the sales of the Switch One, okay, let's say because I don't think it's going to be in terms of the same numbers in terms of how the Switch One released within its first week. Let's say compared to when the Switch Two releases, and then compare the numbers to where in the first week of the Switch 2 sales. And I think there's going to be, I think Nintendo will have, depending on the situation, how they will have to probably lower the price so more players or more people will buy the Switch 2 with like Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Hyrule Warriors, and or any of the other games that players might want to get for the Switch 2. And yeah, I do hope that Nintendo does lower the price so that more players can get it and get the games that they want to get, and also lower the price for some of the games, because I think in the US it's £70 to £80 or $80 for Mario Kart World. And yeah, I just do hope that Nintendo, when they look at the prices or look at the sales, do lower the prices to a reasonable degree in terms of how they are, in terms of how they sell the Switch in the first week of release compared to like a few months down the line, let's say 6 months from the Switch 2 releases or afterwards. They do lower the prices so that more players can buy the Switch 2, because I do want the Switch to flourish and just be a fun console that a lot of players can use and just have fun with and just play a lot of interesting games and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things that for me, I think from what we've seen so far, there's not many games that people might want to buy on first release, because one of the first games is going to be Mario Kart World. And for me personally, I think I'm leaning a lot more into the camp of just waiting a few months after release to get a Switch 2 and just get more of the games, or get more games after release, so like Mario Kart World and Hyrule Warriors, because those two games are a lot of fun and they are part of a series that I quite enjoy. And yeah, I think hopefully Nintendo sees this or something, and then they can make some sort of discount or lower the prices to a reasonable amount, so as I said before, more players can enjoy these games and just have fun and stuff like that. So yeah, so I think that's why I think those have been my thoughts on the Switch 2 pricing in particular, and I think that's been my thoughts on the Switch 2 Direct as a whole. I thought the Switch 2 Direct was fun. I think it's got a lot of cool games coming out over the next few months when the Switch 2 is released. I think a lot of the hype, I think what people have said, which I rightfully agree with, have would just kill the hype a bit or quite a lot, is the pricing of the Switch 2. So yeah, that's been my general discussion on the Switch 2 Direct. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next video.